In 1483, England was plunged into turmoil. King Edward IV died unexpectedly, leaving a fragile kingdom and two young sons to inherit his throne. The stage was set for a dramatic power struggle. Edward V, just 12 years old, was the rightful heir. His uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, was appointed Lord Protector. This appointment would soon ignite a conspiracy that still fascinates historians. Richard, an ambitious and seasoned warrior, seized control swiftly. He intercepted Edward V on his journey to London, taking the young king into his own protection. The true motive remained shrouded in doubt. Edward V was escorted to the Tower of London, ostensibly for his safety before his coronation. A few weeks later, his younger brother, Richard, Duke of York, joined him within its formidable walls. The Tower was not just a prison, it was a royal residence. Many nobles lived there in comfort, but for the young princes, it quickly became a gilded cage. Their freedom was curtailed. Then came the shocking pronouncement. Edward IV's marriage was declared invalid, making his children illegitimate. This removed Edward V from the line of succession entirely, paving the way for Richard. On July 6, 1483, Richard was crowned King Richard III. The coronation solidified his power, but the question of the prince's fate loomed darkly over his reign from the very beginning. Soon after Richard's coronation, the princes were seen less and less frequently. By late summer, they had vanished completely from public view. Whispers of foul play began to circulate. No official explanation for their disappearance was ever given. The silence from the court only intensified the public's suspicions. What had truly become of the young princes? The most compelling motive pointed to Richard himself. As long as the princes lived, they posed a threat to his claim to the throne, a constant rallying point for his enemies. Was Richard a power-hungry tyrant who eliminated his nephews, or was he a victim of ruthless politics, falsely accused by those who eventually usurped his crown? Henry Tudor, who defeated Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field, became King Henry VII. He strategically blamed Richard for the princes' deaths, consolidating his own shaky claim. The most famous confession came years later from Sir James Tyrrell, a servant of Richard III, who supposedly admitted under torture to murdering the boys on Richard's orders. However, Tyrrell's confession was made while imprisoned and awaiting execution for treason against Henry VII. This raises serious doubts about its veracity and whether it was coerced. Popular legend claims the princes were smothered in their beds by Tyrrell and his accomplices in a chamber within the tower, often referred to today as the Bloody Tower. In 1674, two small skeletons were discovered beneath a staircase in the Tower of London. They were interred in Westminster Abbey, believed to be the long-lost princes. These remains were briefly examined in 1933, confirming they were two children of similar ages to the princes. However, no DNA testing was conducted, leaving room for doubt. Today, many historians advocate for DNA testing of the remains. This could definitively confirm their identities and potentially shed light on the circumstances of their deaths. While Richard III remains the prime suspect, other theories exist. Some suggest Henry Stafford, Duke of Buckingham, had the princes murdered to further his own ambitions. Another theory points to Henry VII himself, suggesting he arranged their deaths to remove any potential rivals, and then blamed Richard to legitimize his new dynasty. A more romantic theory posits the princes were not murdered but smuggled out of the tower and lived under new identities, perhaps in hiding abroad or in remote areas. The Perkin-Warbeck Rebellion, where a young man claimed to be Richard, Duke of York, gained significant support years later, suggesting many believed a prince could still be alive. Despite centuries of fervent debate, definitive proof for any single theory remains elusive. The absence of a concrete body or a verifiable confession leaves us with speculation. Richard III's legacy was forever tainted by the accusation. Shakespeare's portrayal cemented his image as a villain, a hunchbacked monster who ordered his nephew's deaths. However, modern Ricardians argue that Richard was a good king framed by the Tudors. They believe he was unjustly maligned, his character assassinated by propaganda. The mystery is a tangled web of political ambition, family feuds, and historical revisionism. Each piece of evidence can be interpreted in multiple ways depending on one's perspective. Centuries later, the princes in the tower continue to capture our imagination. Their story is a chilling reminder of the lengths power-hungry individuals would go to secure a throne. It's a tale of innocence lost, of ruthless ambition, and the ultimate betrayal within the closest of family circles. A truly tragic and unsolved royal mystery. Until new evidence emerges, or DNA tests are permitted, the fate of the princes in the tower will remain one of history's most compelling and enduring loose ends. What do you think happened to Edward V and Richard of Shrewsbury? Was it Richard III, Henry VII, or someone else entirely? Share your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more historical mysteries, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the past.